played a really good football team on Saturday in UIW, and I thought we played 30 minutes of really good football, and then second half got away from us a little bit. We kind of got outside of what we were doing, and we turned the ball over a couple times, which is never good against a good football team. And credit to them, they put some drives together in the second half and wound up moving away. But proud of the way our guys played hard and physical the entire game. And now we're ready to put that one to bed and move on to the next one, Nichols.
Basically, what do you talk to your team about after a game like that? Because just like you say, the second half just wasn't there. But you're all playing number 18 in the country.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, they're probably the best football team we played all year from top to bottom. I think that maybe Texas State had better special teams, but I think overall, as a team goes, they were probably the best team we've played. So, I thought we needed to do a couple of different things in the second half. Like that first drive in the second half, we had a couple opportunities to get off the field and did not on third down. And I just think you got to get off the field. You got to make sure you keep putting them under center and stop missing tackles. And then those things that we were doing really well in the first half, and they made a couple of adjustments, but really not much. They just kind of executed a little bit better than we did.
The play of Robert, 238 yards, passing 3 touchdowns. I thought for the most part he looked pretty good out there.
Yeah, thought he threw the ball well. I thought he was on time most of the time with where he was supposed to go with it. Which against a defense like that has all that speed, you got to be on time, and he did a really good job. I thought our skill guys were super competitive. Devin Gibbs and Kindon obviously playing really well. So, I think our guys, Isaiah Jones, back, finally back from his injury, playing really well. So it was good to see those guys step up, and good to see Rob play a little bit more free and, a little bit more on time. He did have 2 turnovers, which, I think, probably, hindered a little bit of his feeling really great about himself today. But, he should feel good about what he did from an execution standpoint.
I thought Devin played well. That touchdown catch, good concentration. Actually, ball was batted in. He was able to get it, and that just showed you, the type of hands he has.
Yeah, I mean, that was a contested catch, and we knew that was going to be that play that we had double cadenced them and wanted to get in the right call, and that was the call that we had against that defense, and we knew that would be a contested catch against the safety, and Rob put it in a great spot. Devin was able to ward him off with his body and make the catch, and it's great to see. And Devin played really physical in the run game. He blocked his tail off. I thought that was really good to see. He's really coming into his own.
Jalen, another great game defensively. He's out there every Saturday busting it for you.
Yeah, I mean Jay played great. I mean he played super physical, and a lot of times they're making you play in space as a linebacker, and he had to play in space, which it's probably not his. If you said what's his best game, that's probably not his number one, but played really well in it for this game. And I thought overall, defensively, there were a lot of really good things that happened out there. We had some mental lapses, and there was one play where I don't know if I'd seen a quarterback throw the ball that far on the money like I did on that one go route he threw to Walthall. That was super impressive.
I wish how much you want to comment on, but kind of heated before the game a little bit.
What's that?
I don't know if you really want to comment on this or not, but it's heated exchange before the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's, that seems to be a common theme when we play them. It's obviously an emotional game for us and, for them as well. So, their last home game. So it was, it was nothing that we didn't, got squashed pretty quickly.
Moving ahead, Nichols, what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a little bit of a different team. McQuaid's still there, the quarterback, but I think from a standpoint of like the personnel around them, the O-line is really different from a year ago. Really different from game one. Same on the perimeter with their receivers. There's a bunch of different guys in there, but still very well coached. They play a really good style of offense as far as like grinding the ball and running it, and Guggenheim with the Wildcat, and they're still doing all that stuff, and they're doing it pretty well. Defensively, I think they've lost some guys to injury. They're playing an interesting brand of defense with 2 D linemen and a bunch of linebackers out there and secondary guys, and doing a really good job. I think they're might be first in the conference against the rush. So it should be strength on strength on Saturday. So I think that's kind of what you see. And, the kicking game for them has kind of been feast or famine. They've been, some games been really, 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 really good. And then other games, really, really poor, as far as giving up blocks and things of that nature.
Could it be, you're only second year with some of these guys, one with a few more. Senior day?
Yeah.
What have these kids done for this program for you, the 2 years you've been here? They went over 20 of them recognized. There's going to be a lot of them out there in the field on Saturday for the last time.
Yeah, and there's some guys that, obviously chose to be here another year and didn't have to be. And, really proud of those guys and what they've done for our program at Lamar. And I know, obviously, sitting here at 5-5, nobody wants this record. But, in the end, 2 years ago, this team was, I think they're winless at this point in the season. So they've really done a really good job of changing the narrative at Lamar football. And, guys like Savon Ray and Jalen Freeman and KG and, C. Will and all these guys that, JaVale, Robeson. All these guys that have really poured their heart into this place and saw it transform from, being a tough place to play to being a really fun place to play. And I really appreciate everything those guys did for us so far. But we got 2 to go with them, and we're going to cherish each one of them and give these guys an incredible opportunity to go out and get a win.
Coach, you've already talked about him. In fact, you mentioned it a little bit Saturday night after the game, but taking on a team that's 8th ranked in the country, and your defense 3 times was forced to quickly get back out on the field because of a turnover in tough spots, bad field position, and they were able to get stopped, not giving up any points. I think 3 turnovers, UIW accounted for no points off of those. Talk a little bit about that effort from the defense. Yeah,
it was a great showing by them as far as, getting off the field and minimizing the damage of turnovers and those types of things. And, I can't say it enough. We had great opportunities to get turnovers too. We had 2 of them on defense, but, probably could have had 3 or 4 more based on the way we were playing. So really proud of how those guys played. And I thought the first half of football was probably, close to being pretty darn good on the defensive side of the ball. I was extremely impressed. The last drive was a little frustrating of the half, where they got points out of it. But, again, I think there were some clock errors on their officials that kind of cost us about 15 or 20 seconds. But, there's nothing you can really do about that. You just got to play the game.
We were mentioning in our broadcast, James and I did, why is there still time on the clock?
Yeah, well, the first play actually was the one that kind of cost us 10 seconds because, he caught the ball and he got hit backwards 2 yards, and then he stepped out of bounds. And generally they give them forward progress, which they did. They spotted the ball in forward progress, but they gave him the out of bounds mark to stop the clock. And that's really the 5 seconds that you needed, at the end of that half. But I'm sure something else could have happened as well. But that was definitely one that stuck in my head.
Is there anything that the senior class can take away from? You made a comment earlier that the record is not what anybody wanted, but 2 years ago at this time people would have been partying in the streets around here for 5 wins. Is there something that these seniors can take away, knowing that they, for lack of a better phrase, they flipped the script or have flipped the script when it comes to Lamar Cardinal football?
Yeah, I think those are always that's a lot of heavy lifting, to take a program that hasn't historically won a lot of football games and kind of flip it around, to have a winning season last year and have an opportunity this year to have the same thing. And obviously you got to go play the games, but I think those guys have done amazing as far as believing in Lamar, believing in what we could be, and continuing to fight every day for what the culture that we've created here and that they've really bought into. So they need to continue to do that for 2 more games, and I have no doubt they will. They're a special group of people. I know sometimes you want people to be better players and all that good stuff, but as far as the human aspect of it, and you know, every day I walk in the room and I see Robert Coleman there and I see Jalen Freeman there, kind of makes you feel pretty comfortable about being in the room. And then you got Ramon Stevens and you got, Eli Ripley all sitting in the front row, and that's comforting to know those guys are here and that they believe in everything that we're doing. And of course, Savon, I don't want to leave him out, but he's always a calming influence on me for sure.
What was his deal Saturday?
You know, he was a game time decision, and just wasn't really. I think he felt like he didn't practice enough to be ready. He physically he thought he could go, but he thought mentally he just he wasn't there because he didn't get all the reps in practice this week. So he should be all full go this week. I mean, with barring any setbacks, should be in pretty good shape. He said he felt great today. So.
Any other questions? All right,
Thank you.